So a little bit of background. I've actually only been using Adobe Spark for probably the last, I would say about a year, year and a half-ish, probably really frequently about a year. I was introduced to this by a colleague a couple of years ago, and they were using it with a class, and they were having their students do some projects. And I was, prior to being a tech integration specialist, I was an English teacher just last year. So this is my first year in the tech specialist position. But as an English teacher, I was talking with another colleague who was a science teacher, and she was telling me about using Adobe Spark. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'd gotten into some other tools and totally not given it a second thought. And then I went to a tech conference and did a workshop on Adobe Spark and absolutely fell in love with it. And one of the things that I want to say about this tool is that it's free, and it can be free and can be endless with free. Really, the difference between paying for it and not paying for it comes down to a watermark that appears in the lower right-hand corner of whatever you're creating. And that's, and other than that, there's a few like premium features that like more templates and things like that. But really the things that you can do with Adobe Spark in the free version are part of what make me like really happy with it as a product, is that it just gives you so much, and you don't have to pay for it. Now, in the job that I'm in, I do pay for it monthly, and I chose to do that partially to get rid of the watermark, but also to just kind of expand the template. But it hasn't really changed what I was doing with it before. And so you don't need to pay for this product, and that's what's really, really great about it. If you've never experienced anything with Adobe Spark before, it is a great tool for publishing things. They could be, just singular graphics. It could be like a web page. It could be a video, but that's what I mean by it's a great publishing tool. Whether you want to create, or you want your students to create like graphics or scrolling web pages or video, this is a great tool because it is free to not just you, but also students. Now, it does come with the stipulation that your students need to be 13 years or older to create an account. However, I have heard of teachers using their own account and having students create on their own account. That is a possibility if you wanted to create like your own teacher account for students to use. That's a possibility if your students are younger than 13. And that's not necessarily a bad idea to do that, just because you then hold everything that they create, and you have access to everything that they create under that. And so you have a little bit more control over that creation aspect with your students. So if you'd like to pull up a tab, you're going to spark.adobe.com. And there are a variety of ways to sign in. You can sign, if you haven't created an account before, you can sign in with your Google, you can sign in with Facebook, you can sign in with Apple. You can also just type in your email and create an account through your email. So that is something that if you want to go ahead and do that right now, you can go ahead and open up that and start that process while I briefly go over the different types of products. And I'm calling them a product because the end result, the 3 different ways you can use this create 3 different end results, 3 different products when somebody is finished with them. So that's why I'm calling them that instead of tools. I thought it was kind of strange to call them tools because there's so many things within them that are also tools. And so I've just kind of chosen to call them a product. So when you're done, you will have either a post, a page, or a video that you've created. I'm going to go over page and video kind of quickly and show you some examples of it, and then we're going to work with post because it's kind of the easiest one to just, hey, can you quickly create something like this? And we'll do a little creation with post towards the end. In terms of what each of them are, Post is just a single page, single frame of a graphic. That might be, you can create Instagram posts, Facebook posts, SE posts. They have a lot of different types of posts that you can create, but it is that image. It could be a poster. It's just a single image that a single graphic that you would put up on anything that you're using it for. I've used posts for posters. I've had students design posters off of it before. If you've used Canva or if you've used Pictocharts, post kind of falls into something like that. Then page is more like a scrolling presentation. So if you want students to create websites, but you don't want to go through the process of having to teach them, how to use particular website designs, if you use Wix or something like that, I like Adobe Spark for web pages because it's very simple, like the most simplistic web page that it could be. There's no menu to it. There's no quick links. There's nothing like that. It's just a scrolling presentation. And then you can add in links, like you can link certain pictures, you can link certain things, but or certain words, but it's really just a singular scroll. And then the video portion allows you, under the free version, it allows you to create pretty short videos. I actually, since I've started paying for it, haven't done much with video as to, maybe what happens when you pay for it for the video. But a lot of the videos that I have done under the free version were like 5-minute videos, which for students is a really good amount of time to use for building videos. And so even though you're creating kind of short videos, it doesn't seem to be too much of a problem. You can use pictures. It has canned music that you can use, but you can also embed other videos within it. So a couple of things that I just want to talk about in terms of implementing Adobe Spark. Now, when you're learning a new tool, a lot of times it can be a little bit overwhelming. With Adobe Spark, there's 3 different products and 3 different ways that you can use this. So I would start with, if you're trying to implement an Adobe Spark project, I would start with something simple so that students can get used to using the tool. What I did when I introduced Adobe Spark to my classroom was I started by showing them how to use post, and then had them just create a graphic off of a topic, and they got to pick their topic, and I said the product just has to, or the post just has to have some kind of a message to it. And so they explored that in a really simple way before we started building on using Adobe Spark in other ways. The next thing I would say is definitely make sure that you're kind of scaffolding, and that's kind of what I was talking about. I was trying to kind of scaffold their projects a little bit by starting small, but you want to make sure that you scaffold the project a little bit at first, because if you don't kind of give it to them with some pieces and some parts and in small increments, they have a tendency to get lost in the tool rather than focusing on the project. And so another big kind of piece to this in terms of like saving time, I found that if I did a lot of prep work in the beginning before I taught them the tool, like for example, let's say that I wanted them to find certain amount of images to add, or I wanted them to write a script before they started filming their video. If I set that prep time ahead before I taught them how to use Adobe Spark, they would produce better things and in a shorter amount of time. If you give that prep time and you give them the things that they would need to build on that project and have them do the pre to starting the project, some kind of a pre starting the project, they'll get through when they actually start the project a lot faster. They're not recording something 500 times because they have a script right there. So maybe they're only recording something a couple of times. Definitely organize the media that you have kids use ahead of time as well. If they find their pictures first and they know how they want to use their pictures, it will go a lot quicker than if they're building and they're like, oh, I need this picture, I need this picture. Have them look for those types of things ahead of time. I've found myself using multiple aspects, multiple products of the Adobe Spark in one way. But if you're doing that with students, you want to make sure that you're teaching them each product at a time. Teach them post, then you can teach them page, then you can teach them video, or teach them post, then video, then page, however it works in. I've integrated a lot of the Adobe products into each other. But for students, that can be really overwhelming, because even though it's pretty easy to find things from one product to the next product, they are different. And so if you start with something small and then build upon it, you'll have, you'll find you'll save yourself a few gray hairs for sure. And then the last one, and this is kind of up to you and how you are as a teacher, but you will learn the product really quickly by trying to do what it is you're having your students do. So creating fun examples to show students is another thing that I would say, like, definitely as you're giving them an assignment that you would use Adobe Spark for, and you have an example, you will find you'll run into some of the same things, issues maybe, or troubleshooting that they might do if you create your fun project first and use it as, as an example to show them. It's just a really great way to kind of dive into it. I'm not going to go into this too much, but if you click on this, it's a toolbox. It'll take you to a wakelet of different sites that I use when I'm trying to build on things. A really good one, a really good example of one on there is something called remove.bg. And let's say that, I'll give you an example. Let's say that I took a snip of this toolbox right here, but I don't want the white background of what I've snipped. If you pop it into remove BG, it will remove the white background for you, so you can just have that floating toolbox in a PNG. And that's just kind of a little bonus. It's just kind of a little bonus tool that I use here or there, and this toolbox has it. Remove BG is one of my favorites because it has just saved me so much time when I'm building different things. So that's just a list of some tools that I use when I'm doing these things. So I want to start really quickly, or I want to start first with page. And like I said, I'm going to go through page and video a little bit quicker, because what I want you to be able to maybe test yourselves or play around with is post, just because in the amount of time that we have, post is a good one to start with. But I'll show you page and video as well. Page is probably, out of the 3 different products that you can create out of Adobe Spark, Page is probably my favorite, just because I can use Page to house the other things. And that's what I really like about Page. In terms of digital storytelling, if you're really interested in this tool for digital storytelling, I kind of just wanted to give you an example of how you could use this. Although admittedly, what I have created with it is not necessarily student. What I have to show you, or how it works, is not necessarily a student product. It's more just how I've used it. But I think this would be a really great tool if you have kids create biographies, because it would allow them to add multiple pictures, information. They could scroll through it. You could do it for reporting. Like if you are doing journalism, or you are having them do a blog or something like that, this is a good one to use. I could see it for character analysis. You could build a page on a character, and then students would be able to build in the information or the analysis of that character as you scroll through. And it's also a really good way for students to put all of their work in one place. So even though that's not necessarily digital storytelling, I do think it's really good for portfolios. Now I'm going to show you the reasons why I like to use Page while I'm actually showing you an example of a page. And so some of the reasons to use Page. If you're tired of PowerPoint, and you're tired of your students using or overusing PowerPoint or Google Slides, Page is a great change. I like it because it's visually really appealing. And unfortunately, as I'm scrolling through this, if you scroll through this on your own computer, you're going to get to see how well it slides and how you can transition through things. Although while I'm doing it, it's going to look really choppy just because it's going through that. But what I like about it is I like how I can put text next to pictures. I can make pictures really big. This here, I can add buttons, which is really nice. That's another reason I really like it, is I like how you can add links to things and you can do them as buttons, so it looks really professional. You can add quotes. You can add a variety of pictures, and it just kind of slides really nice. And again, it does not slide nice on Zoom, but it slides really nice on your own. So please, please definitely check this out. This is something that's called a glide show, what I'm trying to show you right now. And it's where it'll show you a picture and then you can add some text to it, which is fun. You don't have to add text. If you do a presentation and you just want to glide through the pictures, it will just seamlessly transition, which is another reason why I really like Page, is the transitions are built in for you. And that's really nice. So you don't have to worry about kids spending a lot of time trying to build in those transitions, because that's just a natural part of this tool. Justin, I'm not really sure. You're asking me, is that a website that was created or an assignment file? Could you maybe unmute and clarify what you mean?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just didn't want to interrupt you.
No, I love it. I would love anybody to interrupt me at any time with your question.
Okay. What I was asking, like, what you're showing us now, is that like a website? I know you're talking about using this to create a website, or is that like just a file, like a student would turn in that and then you click on it and it takes you to what we're seeing?
Oh, yeah. So it is a website. It does create kind of its own website because it generates a link to whatever this, like this looks like a website, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm going to show you next is how you do kind of a little of the editing side. Like, what does it look like on the editing side? And so what I'm showing you, unfortunately, I don't have a student example of this to show you how a student could create this, but a student can create this same thing.
Okay.
I used it I used this during COVID. So I actually built this during our shutdown last spring. And I used it as a way to give assignments, but you could use it for both.
Okay.
And that's the other reason that I really like Spark is students can create this and it's really easy, but it's also a really quick way for you to give assignments. So did that kind of help?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yes. Yes, I believe so. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Sarah asked if they've signed a DPA with the state. Yes, I believe so, because I'm pretty sure I checked this last spring when I had students use it. So
Okay, I didn't see Adobe Spark specifically. I saw all the other Adobe stuff, but I know like all of billing stuff hasn't even been uploaded to the state database. And so I just don't know, how reliable that state database is for the DPAs. And our district in Billings is saying we can't use anything that we haven't been approved. They're going to start blocking everything.
Oh, okay. So under the database, is it just specifically to Billings? Are they saying they're like just specifically to Billings, or if you go on
No, when I search the database, I can see whatever district has already gotten the DPA signed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just Adobe itself, and Adobe Spark, they're saying, is separate.
Oh,
So I'm just curious. Like I love Adobe Spark, but I went to use it in a classroom the other day, and I was like, I don't think I can use it. I'm frustrated with all of that. I mean,
yeah, and that's understandable because it really is limiting what we can do things with things because it's an added amount that we have to do when we have to have that kind of thing signed. I looked up Adobe and I did not realize that they were considering, is it Billings that's considering them two separate things, or is it the state?
Well, see, that's been the huge question. We don't know.
Yeah.
Because Tracy Piltz has contacted Adobe and they're saying, yeah, we'll get it to you, but they have never gotten it to us.
Oh.
So it's just called the Adobe Creative Cloud is what is under Adobe, and I don't know if Spark is considered under that, but I could look into it. I was just curious if you knew.
Yeah, no, that specifically, I had looked up Adobe and I was like, oh, Adobe's under here. Okay, so this one's good. I didn't think of it as Adobe Spark being separate. So yeah, I'm sorry, Sarah, but that's a good question. And I can look into it too. Maybe if multiple people are reaching out, then we can get it, get it under there. Deanna, where are you from? Oh.
Deanna's in Florence.
Oh, I thought that was the name. That's terrible. Thanks, Deanna. It's like Florence uses it. Okay. But that was a good question, Sarah, and I appreciate it. And I'll just keep looking into it. So let me show you the back end of this really quick. So when you go into Adobe, there's a little plus up in the corner, and this is going to pull me into this page that I'm going to show you how to edit. But let me show you. When you first go into Adobe Spark, this is what it looks like. And you can see here, it can pick automatically what you want to post based on what it might be. These are posts. This here, the presentation, that's the web page. That is Adobe Spark page. The slideshow is a video. And then your posts, the Facebook post, Instagram post, those are all the post program. And then it'll show you recent projects that you have created. But the little plus up here will ask you what you want to create, and then it will take you into a tool. Now, the old version used to ask you if you wanted page, post, or video. In this case, they just switched it up by what you might want to create. So your flyer, your story, your Instagram, these are all posts. And then your collage might be a video, your web page, your video, and then you can even go into custom graphics, which is where you might choose like, a poster size, or it even gives you like multiple types. So that's where you would start your project. However, still sparking. This is what it looks like on the editing end. And it looks almost exactly like the page, except that as you're scrolling through, it looks like it's gonna, just a second, I have to shut one of these. Okay. I'm gonna have to redo it. So as you open there you go. Oh, it's still doing it for me. Sorry. I'll just reopen it through here. There we go. So you can see it pretty big on your screen. This is a really simple way to build a website. You just add whatever it is that you want to add by pressing the little plus button here. And you can change your theme, the design, and all of that. Here's what you do not have in Page. In Page, you pick the theme and it will pick like your font for you. You cannot change the font. You cannot change the background colors. You can't change those types of things. And that's because really this is supposed to create it in the simplest way. But that was at first that was really hard for me to kind of like wrap my head around because I like to do a lot of that design. But if you're using this with students, it's kind of nice not to have all of those options because then you don't have kids wasting time trying to decide the background, trying to decide the font, trying to decide all of those things is basically built in for you. So these are all the different designs. And when you click on the different design, like if I click on Whimsy here, it's going to change the design of the font and the color of the background and so forth. And all of these kind of do that. I think I had it under Wesley originally. And so that this is what it looks like once you click on it. And so then it just makes those changes for you. And so the kind of the design piece is a little bit more limited, but if you're just using it, if you're using it for kids to build the biography and you're more worried about the content than the design, this is the perfect program for you because they will spend more time on the content than they will on the design. And then as you add things, when you add these little plus, you want to add them where you want them. But you can see if I want to add something above this, I would hit the plus up here and it's going to give me all of the same options. The split layout is what I have right here. And then when I move away from it, I just click it again and it'll come back. I can do a photo grid, which adds a lot of pictures for you to see at once, or a glide show, which is where you get a real nice kind of stream through a glide, as it states, through your pictures. If you add a button, that's how you can add links. And that's a really nice way to keep links really clean, is to add them as buttons. And then you just title them. And again, it designs the button. And you can't change the button. The button is the shape of the design based on what it is. And so that's Page. Are there any questions about Page? Okay. I'm going to go on to video. Video is really nice because it's very simple. You can have students build videos very quickly. A lot of things are built into it. I kind of see this as videos are a nice way because you can add so many pictures and you can play music behind it, or you can do narration. I thought this would be a really fun way for you to maybe do a family tree assignment, like, or a family memories assignment. If you're doing an assignment that's like, where do you come from? Something like that. This would be a really cool way to do it because students would be able to add in their photos and also add in their narrative. And that's, that's something, even with biographies, same kind of thing. You could use the page or you could use the video, and then you could have students doing a lot of talking. It does allow you to add, words or do side by side. And the video that I have here is a great example. Unfortunately, on Zoom, it's really hard to show for you to hear it. And I don't know if that's my computer, but I have not had very much success. So if you want to listen to that on your own, I added it in, so you can just kind of click into it if you like. The reasons to use video. So I really think that students need to have more experience with building videos, with YouTube and everything that they do through YouTube, TikTok. They are building this kind of media. I think it's a great thing to have them building it in an educational atmosphere. And this is a good starting tool. If you're really into video, and you have other programs that you would use where you can do more with them, whether it's WeVideo or it's iMovie or something like that. This may not be of interest to you, but what I like is it's a really good introductory program to building video because of the simplicity of it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull you into the editing side of it. It builds in your transitions. Like I said, it has canned music that you can put over the top. It's definitely a simple tool. I think I already have this one open too. I have it open right here. Yeah. So what you do along the bottom is where you kind of add in what looks like slides. And so you're adding from piece to piece the slides, and you can add your pictures in. And then once you're clicking on a picture, you can add your voiceover by simply clicking this little icon here. It will give you prompts as you're adding things. It'll give you prompts to hurry up because it definitely is keeping you to a time frame. So that's something to kind of know as you're using it. And that's why I say that like the prep for this one's pretty important, because having that script for them to read out or practice a couple of times before they click will save them a lot of recording. And I actually found that out myself as I was trying to make videos. I was like, oh, I can just wing this. It'll be fine. Which students think that all the time. Oh, I can just wing this. But it was taking more time to just wing it than it was to write the script and then read off of the script. And you can see your options as you're adding on the side here. These are the different things that you can go through. So it is definitely a video of slides, but it does give you kind of the option of sorry, just a second. I'm missing one of my buttons. Let me find it really quick. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to move the people. There we go. You can add a collaborator at the top here. And then of course you can download it, share it, all of those types of things. Now, this is the one that I've worked with the least, to be perfectly honest. So when you're adding, when you're adding your images and things like that, that's mostly what I've done. I've not necessarily like added a video to it. But here we go. So I've mostly added text or added photos, but there is a way that you can add your video. When you click that, it's basically asking you to pull it off of your desktop. So that prep part where you have those things, your media pieces downloaded ahead of time, will really help. It does not record video. It's not like a Wii video or a Screencast-O-Matic or a Screencastify or anything like that, where we'll let you do video recording. But you could use one of those other tools to record some videos that you might want to put in here, and then upload them through this video portion here. However, like I said, I have not done much of that. I just know that it allows you to add the video there. This one is really like Page, really simple. There's not a lot of design to it. There's not a lot of ways that you can change it, but you can use different themes. They're right here. You can resize it to be either a square video or a wide video, and then you can choose your music, and you can kind of choose from quite a bit, and that's the music that plays over in a muted sense in the background. So that one is video. And then the last one I want to talk before I give you time to kind of, like work on your own project and hopefully share them with us at the end is, there we go, is Post. And Post is actually the one I use the most, simply because of my job. Like I just can build things pretty quickly in Post. And this is the one where it allows you to create graphics. So this is just a really simple graphic. The activity that I wanted to kind of use with you, which is kind of a fun activity, is a 6-word memoir. And there is, I do have a, oops, let's go back. I do have a 6-word memoir page that I created for students. So this is an example of how I've used this as an assignment, and I built it into Page. If you're not familiar with a 6-word memoir, It kind of has there's kind of an urban legend behind it. The urban legend kind of goes that Hemingway supposedly was challenged with creating a novel in 6 words. And this supposedly was what he scrolled. This right here was the novel that he supposedly wrote in 6 words that he scrolled on a napkin. And it was supposed to tell, obviously, like a pretty tragic story. The way that I've used it with students is through a website that's actually called 6 Word Memoir, and that's attached to this page, and you're welcome to scroll through this and kind of look at it. But I thought maybe it would be kind of fun for us to create, for you guys to create your own 6 Word memoir and kind of practice how to use posts. And so in the 6 Word memoir, it's just 6 words of something that you're thinking, something that you're feeling. Maybe it's how you feel about Monday, or maybe it is like something that you think about for life in general, or it could even be like a memoir of how you feel about COVID. The website kind of exploded over COVID, and there were a lot of 6 Word memoirs that were posted to their web page relating to COVID, which was kind of fun. But I thought it would be fun for us to create those. There are a lot of reasons to use posts. Just really, in a nutshell, it is a really easy way to build graphics, which is really fun. I'll go ahead and show you. This is the one I created. It's going to take a time to think. Am I here? There we go. So this is the one that I created as an example for students for 6 Word memoirs. This is what you have the most control over as far as design goes. You can see over here, this is how you access the different tools within this post product. And then on this side, once you click on it, so for example, if I choose text and I want to add my text, you're going to add your 6 words or whatever. In this case, Mondays mean fun, frustration, fear, and forgetfulness. This is a really, let me make sure I have, oh, no, I have too many. I gotta delete one. So here are my 6 words, and really I thought of this kind of quickly, but based on who I've talked to today and what like Mondays have been for them, these are all of the different things that I've kind of encountered. But it can be a really short sentence. It can be a series of words. It doesn't matter for a 6 Word memoir. But once you create that, it's going to put it in this whatever mode you had set up, or whatever mode you're starting with, and then you can edit it from here. So to edit the text, I can change the type of text there. Oops. I can change the color if I want. In this case, I think I've got a filter, so that's part of it. Change it out of the shape. Now I've got it in a color. I can change it to something I can see maybe. I can move it around so I can see it. And that's kind of like you're just picking the different options. If I wanted to add a photo in here, you can add a background. If I wanted to change my background, I could do that. So you're just kind of clicking in there. You can definitely play with it however. So it also allows you to do some shadowing if you want to put some shadow on the background. And this is kind of what's nice about Post is that it's pretty simple to change things in it or to add things in it. You don't have to be a designer for it. But that can also be the frustrating part of it, is if you are a designer and you're used to using other programs, like this takes a lot of that effort out, but it also takes a lot of the control out as well. So I have talked for like 40 minutes now. I would love for you guys just to go ahead and create something. It doesn't necessarily have to be a post. If you're more interested in page or you're more interested in video, please, by all means, explore those different tools. I'm here for questions as you have them, but I would love to be able to see what you guys create in this time at the end. If you'd be willing to post it in the chat, that would be really fun.
Sarah, what's the best way for students to share this with a teacher? So I think, for older kids, I can see where this would be easy. Have you had experience with younger ones and a better way of doing it?
How young are we talking?
Well, I mean, I know hopefully once we get this DPA signed, because it's an app, we're going to have kindergarten and first graders that could use it. I love that they can make quick videos and things like that. So is there an easy way that you know of to share those things?
Yeah, probably. Okay, so it's really dependent on, what you have access to. Like if your school purchases Adobe Spark, like Deanna was saying in Florence, like they have this tool purchased. It's really as simple. Everybody has an account, and it's as simple as adding somebody to the account. So that's that
So
invite
as a
to
teacher, you would kind of see what all the students are doing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yes, exactly. If you're working out of like the free version and students are, coming on as the, just their own account, you could work through them with the download. I think that's a little hard for kindergarten. I think
No,
that's too,
completely.
you know, to go through the process of downloading it and all of that. You can share a link.
I was just gonna say, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I
This is
can now,
Deanna.
yeah.
Okay. I was just gonna share really quick because you were talking about, I didn't want to interrupt, but so I teach third grade remote and we used Spark this year. And we actually still use the free version at our school. It's just that our tech administrator has set it up so that that my students' names are on that Creative Cloud license or whatever it is. I actually don't know how it works, but I think that's right. And so the third graders, they're not kindergartners, but we did use the share button, and they just put my email address in, or like copy paste obviously out of our chat in our Google Meet, because that's our best way of working with those kind of things. And it worked really well. So like in kindergarten, when you were talking earlier, it might be better to have like the one teacher account like you were talking about, but I think in third grade we did just fine with that share button. So
Nice.
Yeah, if you're using, I mean, like Sarah, if you were using your teacher account and logging in for the kid, logging into your teacher account for the kids, everything's going to be there for you to see. And I think Deanna's right. That's probably the easiest way. But it's up to you what you're comfortable with. I think you could create, because you can sign in with Google. You could create your own like little spare Google account that's just to be used for students sharing. And then you just sign in under that free in that Google account.
Right.
That would be my suggestion. Yeah.
Perfect.
So
I'm just used to helping older students, and I think for them, even after all this pandemic stuff, they're like, their skills are crazy good now.
Yep.
I just think about the little ones and like how best I could help, navigate that. So no, thank you. That was very helpful.
Yeah, and thanks, Deanna, for sharing. It's great that you have experience with the free account. Um, that's something that we have in our Livingston district is we do have the Adobe Creative account, but it was easier for me to have students create their account than to work through that process with our IT department because our IT department's really small, and so it was just a little bit easier for me to work through. But the difference is I had high school students, and so I think that it's great that if you can have them add this to your creative account through Adobe, definitely go that route because you'll be able to have a little bit more control over the sharing.
Yeah, I think too, like my third graders wouldn't legally be able to use it if their names weren't on that. Even though we only use it in the high school, I think that was the only way to get around it without lying about their age.
Yes. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Now I will say for collaboration, let's say that you have students that are working on the same project. You can definitely utilize the invite for having kids edit the same thing. Once they're finished and they want to share it with you, if you have them publish it, it will create a link. So once it's published, you can share that link and it'll bring you into this. And then this is new, and I can't tell you if that's on the free version because I pay for my version. If that's something that I have access to, if you have it in the free version, I hope you have it in the free version that you can send it to your Google Drive, because that's a really nice thing. In terms of post, really quickly, if you are creating something, like if you're creating this graphic and let's say that this is a background, my mountain is a background, but let's say that it was, an icon or something, like I could search a star and I just wanted this icon. One thing that's really cool about what it lets you do here is if I had a white background and I saved a bunch of stars all over, and I wanted to download it as a PNG, it will ask you if you want a transparent background or not. And that is how you could get rid of the white background. And then you would download that and it would be a PNG. And I actually can just download this really quick and show you. It will pop down in the bottom, and it'll save in your downloads. And then those stars, however they may be, or however they may be arranged, wouldn't have a white background. So you could put them on anything. You want to put them on a slide, you want to put them on, that's another thing that I use this for, not just for creating whole graphics, but for even creating PNGs without a white background, which is really nice.
Is this something that, would you be able to use this? I work with the youngest students in SPED, right? So they wouldn't be going on creating videos, but I have read about using things like videoing the child engaging in the behavior that you want to see, or making a video and editing the video to show the behavior you want, and then you play that video and you let them watch themselves engage in the correct behavior. So for that kind of a thing, or maybe for a like a portfolio type thing to share at parent teacher conferences, or
yeah, you could use, I mean, if you'd videoed the child in that setting, to show them later, you yourself as a teacher could use the videos section and edit it and make it look nice. That's what's nice about how simple it is like, especially if you were creating a portfolio of videos, like if you wanted so that it played from one to the next to the next, you could add them to one another. Let me pull up we'll go in here and we'll do a video. So these are just, as I'm starting this video, these are just different templates that it gives you kind of an idea. So we'll call it a hero's journey because that would be kind of fun if you're adding several videos. And then it'll kind of develop your template based on that. And it gives you some quick tips and it'll show you a video if you want to start on how to use it. But what you could do here is if you wanted to add in, you know, a video that you have taken that you've, you know, downloaded to your computer or something like that, you could do that by just clicking on the video and then accessing it from here and then add it in. You could also add a split screen here where on the one side you might add your text and on the other side you might add your video, and then you could explain what the video was that was happening here. So you could explain for the parent, here's a video of what the child was doing, and then here you're playing so that they could see. So yeah, I could totally see this as a tool for teachers to use in that way. And the nice thing about it is it definitely gives it kind of a professional look, because, and then it makes, you know, and it adds that like kind of little extra special care to it for sure.
Sarah, did you see Justin's question? He's looking for post. And I'm seeing the same thing. I can do an Instagram story, an Instagram post, a Facebook post, but is there like a post somewhere that we're missing?
Yes. So I know what you're saying. So if you go to the custom size graphic, and you just wanted to make like that square, the default is that square. So that square that I created, that's the default size here. But as you're clicking around like these buttons here, it gives you all sorts of different sizes, but that square is the default. And when you click on that, then, and then create, there we go. Then it will give you just that square piece. And then you can also choose, like you can choose pixels, but you can also choose inches. So, you know, let's say, I guess here's another way I've used this. This isn't necessarily digital storytelling, but it definitely is another way that I've used post. I've created like little business cards where I've, you know, been able to manipulate the image based on the size of a business card. And then I've actually downloaded the business card, thrown it into Google Slides, and multiplied it in Google Slides so I could manipulate my slides in order to print multiple copies of it. So that's another thing that you can use post for, because you can pick the inches that you want things for. Yeah, Shannon, it's sort of similar to Canva. It does not have the capabilities of editing that Canva does in terms of like a lot of the creative control. What I like about it is how quickly and simple I can build something. And that's why I use Spark more than Canva, because a lot of what I have to create pretty quickly. And that's why I like it. But it is, it's similar. The post section is similar to Canva. Yeah, Sarah's absolutely right. It's totally less overwhelming than Canva. Yeah.
I think I always feel like I need to be a graphic designer when I get into Canva. I might just grab a template and try to get away with it, but I think Adobe Spark doesn't make me feel like I need to be a graphic designer.
Yeah, totally.
I'm also noticing, so if you are using the tablet version of these, there's Adobe Spark Video, which is its own tablet that makes the Adobe Spark videos, its own app. And then there's Adobe Spark Post, where you would design graphics in just post mode. So if you're using the tablet version of any of these, You have to download the different apps to use these tools and make these products.
I would think that for video, you know, Louise, what you were talking about, I would think that if you have access to an iPad to use that as your video, that might be your best option, is to definitely do it on an iPad and download that Adobe Spark video. Yeah, because I would imagine it would be much simpler that way. I'm afraid I don't use it much on a tablet. I use it almost entirely in a web browser, because the only other tablet that I've used it on is a Microsoft tablet, so it basically works like a computer as well. But I'll have to try it on my iPad. I've never thought about using it on my iPad.
Yeah, I've done it like when I've been at conferences, and you want to make like a quick graphic to post on Twitter or something quoting the speaker. I've used it for things like that. I will add, Louise, one teacher I know, or two teachers I know in Three Forks, use this every year for Mother's Day, and they have the kids make a little video for Mother's Day, and they take the link and put it in a QR code. They turn it into a QR code and print the QR code and then tape that into the Mother's Day card that the kids take home. So mom opens the card and scans the QR code in their little Adobe Spark video of the kids talking, and it comes out. And like that's been really popular with them for the last few years now.
That's cute. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Have people shared their projects? I think there's some links in here. Monique did one. Oh, that's cute. Love it. And then there's another one. So
Oh, cool.
it's a website.
Yeah. Here, let me share that.
Who did the website? Shanna, did you do that?
Jana.
Yeah.
I linked in the Google website that I had already made for school, but I think this might be easier for me to just do my journal entries.
Mm-hmm.
Have it that way.
Yeah.
Can I share that? Can I share that with?
Yeah, that's fine.
So this one was Monique's, right?
That's not mine.
No, I know. I think this one was Monique's. Yeah. Just a little. That's cute. And this was Shanna's, and this is great. Yeah. And you just did this just now? You're fast.
Yeah, I do like the button option. I like that. And then I think even it'd be easier to use this to put on videos of like myself talking instead of the Google site. It was like super weird. You had to use a different program to upload videos and stuff.
Yeah, the simplicity of this is really nice. I will say that for sure. The other thing, and I forgot to mention this, which is really nice, is so Spark, as you're adding photos, you can see there's like multiple options. You can add your own photos. But one of the things that I really like about it is that it credits the photos for you. So at the bottom, when you're using the free photos, I believe it uses Unsplash, I think is the program that it uses. And I think I added that one in Pixabay on the toolkit. If you're looking for places to get free photos, those are two really great sites, but they add them on the bottom here, which is really nice. So it'll credit it for the students, which is really important, I think, for students, and maybe even reminding your students that it's important to make sure that they're crediting their photos that they're using.
I came in late because I had to clock out at 4 o'clock and then I had to stop at the post office and drive home. And so we're not, when I was working virtually, I could just log right on at 4 o'clock, you know, but not anymore. So I went to the site and I'm looking at the site. But did you guys have a certain place that you logged in at, or did everybody just go in on their own, or how did you do that?
Yeah, so you just want to, so when you go to spark.adobe.com, you'll need to create an account for yourself. Like I'm showing you my end on my account and in my projects, but as you create them yourself, what's nice is you can do that through your Google account. You could do it through your Facebook account, or you can add your email and create an account that way.
And I'm thinking I'll do it through Google because our school is using Google for a whole bunch of stuff. So why not? You know, it makes it more uniform.
Yeah. Well, it's also, yeah, it's nice too. I will tell you, however you do it, however you sign in, if you're prone to forgetting how you sign in, definitely make sure that you write it down, because like you can lose projects by signing in Google one time and then, oh, I guess I have to add in my email address a different, and then you end up with 2 different Spark accounts. So
that's important.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw Jordan's up here. It's thinking. It's really thinking, I guess.
And all I did was copy and paste from just the link. I'm sure there's a different way to actually do that.
Yeah, if you want to, so maybe if you could go to, did you just copy and paste the link from where you were editing?
Yes.
If you go to the share and publish it,
Oh,
did you
okay.
try that?
I didn't.
Go to the share and publish it and then throw that publish link in there. We might have better luck. It might give me a hard time because I'm not invited to it.
Okay. And mine's not very exciting. I just made a important dates thing for the rest of the school year.
No, that's great. I like all the different ways that people are using it. So it's nice to kind of see how it's useful to you.
Oh yeah.
That'll give somebody else an idea. Like,
and it's still loading. Whenever it finishes creating the link, I will send it in the chat.
Okay, sounds great. I'm sorry, I'm clicking through all these things. I'm not trying to make anyone dizzy. I'm just, of course, looking for something. There it is. Just want to make sure. If you haven't checked out the toolbox, this is the toolbox. This is another tool within a tool, like a tool to use for tools. It is Wakelet. I love Wakelet, but it's a really great way to kind of keep all of your, like if I want to get a bunch of tools out or videos out to students, I like to create a Wakelet so they can access them in the same place. But I talked about Unsplash, and there is a link to Unsplash. I love that website. I use it all the time. Something similar to it is a place called Pixabay. They have sometimes different, I think Giphy is actually not something you can necessarily use in Spark, but I do like, it's a pretty fun website to use for GIFs. The remove BG is a nice one if you're creating something and you want to remove the background. Photo P is a more complex version of image editing. So kind of like Canva, but even more complex. It's more like Photoshop. And then the YouTube converter, I like for just trying to isolate sounds. And so if you are wanting to add in your own videos, I definitely would suggest trying WeVideo. It does have a free version. Screencastify has a free version. Those are really nice for recording videos. Let's check the chat. Post. Is there a way to just drag and drop text? No, actually, I think, Justin, you do have to, use their text editing. You cannot just drop it in. That is, those are the pieces that are definitely limitations to this, because as you can see, when you add your text, you have to add it in this screen.
Yeah.
And that can be kind of frustrating if you're trying to, manipulate the text, because you're manipulating here, and your manipulation is like usually just return. It's about all you can do.
Okay. Yeah, and it looks like you can't even do two different areas with text. They all have to be in one box. Is that correct?
Yeah. Oh, yes. I think so.
Wouldn't let me add another. I put some text on one, and then I was going to try to put some other text just to make it look better, off to the side up in one corner, but it only let me select between photo and video after I put the text already in there.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those limiting features. Again, I think it's definitely to keep the simplicity of it. If that's something that you're looking for, like I said, this is something I use for quick stuff, but Canva might be a better program to use. Have you used Canva before, Justin?
No, I'm not very I can use the technology, but trying to get it with my math students in 7th grade is a little challenging. They can barely do ST math without ruining that. So I try to do as little as possible, but I'm always looking to expand or something to maybe help me with my presentation and lecture, something to get them a little bit more engaged.
Oh yeah. Yeah, totally. I'd start here. It does, like I said, it doesn't give you as much, it gives you a harder time when it comes to manipulation, but if you find yourself being frustrated with that and you want more options for creating graphics, I would definitely try Canva. I can pop that into the chat really quick. And you can just Google this, like,
Okay.
that's what it is. It's not Canvas, it's Canva.
Okay.
And that's a free tool as well. It will also create things with watermarks, but there's a few limitations to it, but you'll have an easier time adding multiple sets of texts and manipulating them that way.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I'm gonna check really quick too, Justin. A different design might help. Let me check one of my projects, because it seems to me I've had that trouble before, and I may have found a workaround or a template. I'm gonna double check though. Oops. Okay, so I think what I did with this one is I started with a template. So I was able to get isolated text. And I don't remember if that was because I started with the template or what, but do a flyer, see if that makes a difference. Yeah. Okay. So if you add them separately, once you click off of the text, like see how when I highlight, so if I'm here, it's highlighting the text. If I'm off of the text, I can add a new line of text that way. And I think the reason I did not realize I was doing that is because in the past I've worked with templates.
Okay.
And that kind of helps.
I'm not seeing the toolbar anywhere. Is there? I'm in the video, and I see like the full screen, split screen, caption, but I don't see a toolbar like you have with the text on the side. And
Oh, you were in video?
yeah.
Oh, that's what it is. So I was in post. And
Oh, okay.
so
Oh,
in post, you're able to add different. In video, it
Okay,
might be different.
and I still haven't been able to get to where that post is. I checked the Instagram post, the Facebook post. None of them look like what you have when on your screen. When I click, even the custom one, I couldn't get it to look like that.
To look like the square?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you went to custom graphic design?
Yes.
Okay. And then when you were in here, were you able to see this?
Yeah. Yep. I started with because I was making my own, and I started with the video one because I figured that would be one of the easier ones to start with, and I was having trouble finding the post.
Oh yeah. So when you add that, when you hit that plus button, and you go to custom, and you go to custom graphic or custom. Let me do it again.
The last one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're in the plus. Custom size graphic is what it's called.
Okay.
And
And it's just
then
running really slow too. I don't know if everybody else's is running just as slow.
yeah.
Mine's horrible.
I find that to be the case with Adobe in general.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the graphics. You know, we just need so much more bandwidth to load the images and things like that on the site. And so it does, we take a deep breath and we practice our patience when we use any Adobe product. I have to check how many tabs I have open all the time when I'm using it, and like shut out of all of those things and close all the apps on my iPad just to make things run a little bit better.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it can be a really great tool and it can be really frustrating. Like it's the case with technology in general, but Adobe in particular. I've been there with a class before. So.
To share, does it have to be an email address?
Oh, I'm sorry. Say that again.
To share, does it have to be an email address?
To share, yes, with another person, yeah. But you could, if you wanted to, you could publish it instead, and then publishing it will create a link, and then you can send them that link, and it'll open up a web page that looks like what yours is.
Okay, so if I was, okay, create link.
And then, yeah, just copy your link and you can paste that in a URL, or you could paste it in a website and create a link for somebody to access.
Okay. So it says it's copied, so I'm gonna go back to you, and then will it just give me a choice to paste?
Yeah, so if you go, yeah. Yep.
All right, I did it, yay. I wasn't quite sure how to go about that. It's pretty easy,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. Jordan, this is great. Like it has all, yeah, I like the design. Did you do the design? Did you design this solely yourself, or did you use a template?
What was it? It was one of the first things I saw. It was like important dates in Black history. So I just turned it into important dates for school. And obviously I could have put way more dates on there, but because there's way more important dates than there's before, but that's just what I made really quickly.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, and even not just for me, but just things around the school all the time for picture day or yearbooks coming or just important dates. It would be awesome to make something like this to put around the school rather than, granted, because it's great. Our kids make a lot of those type of posters around the school, but sometimes they make them and other kids have no idea what's even going on with those posters. So like something like this just to show really anything everybody to know would be really nice. And that's just one of a million things you could use it for.
Totally. You know, and this is going to sound really silly, but so forgive me, but if you put these on the back side of a bathroom stall door, like that sometimes is the best way to get people to read those things. And I know that sounds silly, but it's like, oh, I'm sitting here. Oh, there's something to see. So.
Well, and even half the time when you're walking with your kids down a hall, they want to stop and read something, but you're like, no, we got to get going. We can't just sit here and read. So like our bathroom might be a good spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to answer Shanna's question, you can download those things to your device. I see a download button. And so then if you downloaded it in either PNG or JPG or even a PDF, it looks like, then you could upload it into your Seesaw for families. And then Melissa, can we share yours? She shared her link, which is me, but I didn't know if she's comfortable sharing it with everybody. I can put it in there for you, Melissa, if you want.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, go ahead and show my low carb quick meal.
I'm gonna put it there and Sarah can show it because it's really good.
Sorry, I'm just kind of off topic with the whole, I don't have a classroom, so I'm just trying to learn more about this stuff.
And I think family and consumer science teachers would appreciate this.
Thank you.
A couple who would like this.
I really enjoyed doing this. I liked it almost better than the iMovie, actually.
A little bit easier than iMovie.
It was definitely quicker. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have put the recipe on, but I didn't have the recipe handy, so I was doing it quickly.
Yeah, that's good.
Did you have all these pictures?
I did, because I did make an iMovie and video the other day, so.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's as simple as that.
That's awesome. I love that. Oh my goodness. I love that so much.
I love those videos. I get stuck on those on Facebook all the time when you're scrolling and they have that exact kind of video that shows you how to make something. So I think those are awesome.
Well, and you don't always have time, right? We don't have time to be doing like a long cooking show. Like that's like super quick. That was what, 20 or 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I mean, I would have put the list of actually the ingredients, but on that slide when you add the spices, I would have done that if I would have had it handy, but I didn't actually have it handy. So, but I just don't have time in my life. So that's why I've been thinking about starting this cooking channel, because I want to make life easier for us busy women or men.
That's, I think Nikki was right. Like, as I was watching it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a really great idea for an FCS teacher, because those are videos that are really popular. Like she said, I get sucked into them too. They're very popular. And these are things that, are relevant. And I think that would be a great assignment for kids. For sure. This is Sarah's. Relax, recharge, and read. I love that. Sarah, I love this. I'm headed to Alaska on Thursday, and I'm hoping I'm gonna be able to do those things.
I hope it's good for you. My brother lives there, and whew, man, that weather sometimes.
Yeah, it's breakup season right now. My brother also lives there. That's why we're going, but it's breakup season.
Where are you going?
This beautiful Anchorage.
Nice.
Yeah, where does your brother live?
Juneau.
Oh, wow. That's pretty far up there, isn't it?
It's actually lower than everything else, but it gets like more rain than Seattle. So.
Oh, Juneau's on the. Is it on the?
You can only get to it by boat or plane. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking. What am I thinking of? Nome. I'm thinking of Nome. Never mind. I don't know Alaska. Obviously. Excellent at geography. This is Dana's crafting Montana. Oh, cool. Make sure it's baby projects.
It's cool to see what people create with just a little bit of time.
I know. This is cool.
Did you look at Deanna's? Hers is awesome. I can see that being a really cool makerspace activity, like having the kids then create the real estate ad for the activity they did in makerspace.
Oh, I love makerspaces. Did she put that
Can I ask a quick question? After you've downloaded your video and you go, okay, like that video in particular that I did, can I go back in and edit it?
Yeah.
After it's done? Okay.
Yes. But you will have to re-download it, because what is downloaded was the version that you had right then and there. So once you add to it, you'll have to download it again. That happens the same with the graphics as well. Once you change them, what you've already downloaded is like your first copy, and then you've got to download it again.
Okay, so then just delete the old so that you don't just delete your old one. Like, and now if I wanted to go in and add the specific ingredients to that, to make it like a publishable video, then I can do that and just get rid of the other one. It won't change anything. Okay.
Yes, exactly. And that's if you've downloaded it. Now, if let's say that you shared a link to the video, instead of downloading it onto your computer, if you've shared the link, I think once you publish it again, it will change it on that link, and you won't have to do another link.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry.
That clarifies that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the difference. Like, the difference is when you download something, it's pulling it onto your computer, right? And that's the version that you get. which is different if you're sharing, if you're publishing a link to share the link, then it's what you've published will update as long as you publish your new version, and you won't need a different link for that. I hope that didn't confuse anybody or it was clarifying.
Nope, nope, that's clarifying. Thank you.
Okay. So I want to see. This one's Justin's. I love that he calls it show and tell.
The show and tell is what it came up as. I just was clicking. I didn't even know what I was doing.
Oh. Bouncing good time. I love the music that you chose to put behind that. I know that you probably didn't hear it through mine, you could see it play, but you couldn't hear it. But I love the music you chose for that.
I actually didn't choose any music. I put some little bouncing sounds in there. But the music just, I didn't even know there was music until I just clicked it and played it. So
that's awesome. Yeah, it did. I will say, if you decide you want to add different music, although that was good music, up in the upper right-hand corner of whatever you're working on is where you can change theme. In the case of video, you can change music if you want. In the case of the presentation, you can choose theme, but that's up in the upper right-hand corner as you're editing things. But I love it. You experienced, Justin, the exact same thing I experienced when I first made my video. I had done the talking and then I played it and I was like, oh, there's music behind that. Well, that's way better than just my voice. So I was delightfully surprised by that for sure.
Yeah, whatever helped, right?
That's right. Especially because, you know, you love hearing your own voice.
Right.
I think I missed Deanna's post. Well, that's cool. Indestructible house for sale. I've got to say, I've just really enjoyed seeing what you guys have created under like such a short period of time. It's been really fun. Let's take a look at crystals. I really, Nikki had said like it's a really cool way to display a project. I had a teacher last year. She was an art specials. She was a specials teacher at the third. Well, actually, I want to say she was actually probably first through fifth grade because she bounced between buildings. But what she did at the end of the year was she took and put all of her students' work that she wanted to showcase, not all of it, but the pieces that she wanted to showcase, and made sure that every kid that had come through her art program, that they had a piece in her art show. And she did, because it was COVID, she did a digital art show to send out to parents that had all of the art pieces displayed with the kids' names next to them. And this was a really cool way to do that. You know, that split screen is really nice for that because you can put the artwork on the one side and then even a little description of what it is on the other, which is really cool. So that's another idea on how to use the Spark video.
I right-clicked and I saw the thing to create a QR code, but then it also has a choice to cast. What does that mean?
So you can, I've never, so let me preface it this, I've never casted directly from Adobe Spark. So, but based on what it means to cast, my guess is that if you had a television, like if you were working in Adobe Spark and you wanted to be able to send what you're working on in your screen, your video, to a TV, you'd be able to send it through to the TV as long as you have a TV that's new enough that casts. Like that's what it basically is. It's like a
Broadcast.
Broadcast, yeah. Like
Yeah.
a visual version of Bluetooth, you know? Yeah. And so
Oh, wow. Huh.
yeah.
Technology these days, you just never know.
Yeah. It definitely the cast definitely comes in handy if you're working off of an iPad, or if you're working off of like you're able to access it through Apple TV. That's kind of nice as well.
Well, and if I had something on an iPad and I wanted to share it in with my supervisors, or, if you weren't breaking confidentiality, maybe share it in a staff meeting to show what you're doing, or, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. I could just share it to my laptop and screen share from the iPad.
Mm-hmm.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sarah, did you have more to go through, or do you think we're ready to go for prizes?
No, I mean, if we have any other questions, I can kind of cover that. I kind of hoped as people were working to share the publish, and we just kind of did that naturally. So that was really the only thing that I had left, but it totally just naturally happens as we're working through it. So that was it. But again, if you have any questions, definitely I'm happy to help with anything.